TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and a special edition Breakfast Bankroll with co-host Mr. R. Mags himself, Southside Riley, as I like to call him. Kind of going to give you guys a brief show and break down what's going on in today's sports world. It's Memorial Day weekend, the kickoff this summer, and I think what generally happens is we forget what this holiday is about. So special thanks to all the people that have served to give us what we have today. Have a grandfather that passed a long time ago that served, my stepdad, and a few other, my brother-in-law that had served 3 times over in Afghanistan. So again, shout out to everyone, past and present, and thank you for your service. Shout out to proud sponsor and partnership, WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It's free. Had a great show with CXO Travis Geiger yesterday morning. We're going to pencil him into those Fridays at 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. back west. We give him an extra hour sleep there, of course. And then 3 Men in a Box. We did some NCAA breakdown, an abbreviated edition. And me and Riley are here today. So without further ado, let's bring him in, Mr. Riley Magnuson. Morning, champ.
Morning, my friend. Happy Saturday. You said it. We might do a show on Monday, Memorial Day, so I'm sure we can give some more thoughts on Memorial Day then as well. But obviously, shout out to all of the veterans who have served. So happy to be here to celebrate that as well. I don't know if you saw my text, my friend, but we've had some shows a couple times this week. And tease that we might bring up some UFC talk today, which I was ready and reared to go, and looked at it 10 times and finally looked at it today, realizing that it's next Saturday. So there is no UFC today, my friend. I am not used to gaps in the schedule for UFC, so anytime I see the upcoming UFC fight, I always assume it's on Saturday. So I'm going to be a week ahead, ready to go. We don't need to talk about it today, but good pay-per-view next week that we'll be breaking down, Makhachev and Poirier, and some other good fights as well, but not happening today, so we can save a little breath on that one. But aside from that, obviously, Game 3 NBA in your neck of the woods, not in your neck of the woods, but Celtics in your neck of the woods, as well as Game 2, I believe, of Oilers and Dallas Stars. First one goes into overtime, and then obviously a little golf and a little baseball mixed in here and there. So not sure if it'll be short and sweet or not, but obviously not as much to talk about as I had originally thought this week here.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to a few colleagues about the UFC, and I know when you said 302, I'm like, are you sure? And then because I'm getting the numbers mixed up because they'll have a UFC fight night, which is, not the big stage, T-Mobile or wherever they are, Dubai or wherever they are. They might have it at the Apex, and there's no number attached to it because I know Connor's coming back in at 303 at T-Mobile. That's the big card, and I want to say that's in July. So when you said it was this Saturday, I'm like, wow, that's weird because I thought 302 was in June, which next Saturday, June 1st. So we were both right there. So I got to chuckle there. Going to give a little sneak preview. I've been in touch this morning with Drew Dinsick, great friend, colleague. MSNBC, NBC Sports, excuse me, and a few others will be on at some point next week. We're going to talk some Roland Garros. We're going to talk some tennis. He is one of the best at tennis. I think one of the last times I saw him at the Super Bowl on Radio Row. And then when we were doing the Beanpot, the women's Beanpot live, the first ever at Boston Garden, we were doing a live show and we had him on. And that's when we, had a nice 5-1 piece on Carlos, my boy, Mr. Alcaraz? The tongue's not working. The brain's working today. The tongue's not working. We were on him and we cashed a nice ticket there. And Anthony Pepe, the Die Hard show, was rolling his eyes. He's like, we're talking tennis. I love some good tennis. So that's just a sneak peek. We got some good shows coming up. Also want to give a shout out to Noah Frank, our new intro he put together. He did a fabulous job. Debuted January 1st, 2015, 9 years ago. And good friend, may he rest in peace, Mr. Pop DiBiase. We always used to have that East-West flair. I was Larry, he was Magic, and I've always said I want to add a little West Coast flair to it. Well, Noah gave me the wink and says, Jeff, JD, I got a little West Coast flair to you. So nothing but Raven reviews there. Thank you. ECSI VIPs last night, 2-1. The Blue Jays blow that damn team up. First inning, I call them the pork chop. Vlad gets a double, and then Bo comes up, gets a single. Of course, the pork chop gets thrown out at home plate. And Kent Maeda, I don't want to say a last-second start, but it was late in the afternoon where he got the nod that he was going to get the start. Had been a punching bag, has shown a little flash here and there. Long story short, Jays get 2 hits in the first inning and then go to sleep. And we lose there, but we got cute. We got Dodgers first 5, team total over 2.5, Riley. We get that in the third inning. And why I say I was almost laughing the whole way because their full game team total was 5.5. They were stuck on stupid at 5 for those people. And then Toscar Hernandez hits a solo shot in the 9th to get anyone that played the full game there. And then the Mavericks team total, we talked about this, under 51.5 first half. We cashed out as they got stuck on 48. Thank you there for the 2-1 day. But Luka, Kyrie, I know all the talk leading up to that series was the coming of the Ant Farm, what Karl Anthony Towns has done, Gobert. They were the talk after beating the defending champs, Denver Nuggets. Home court advantage. Sometimes the first 2 games is a curse, not a blessing. Dallas comes in, and I kind of want to say steals game 1. It was a good fourth quarter. They take it. But kind of sort of in one of those must-win situations where now all the pressure's on Minnesota, and the line showed it. The line got as high as 5.5, even 6 in a few spots. Wolves cruise through the first half. Titans up in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter, Kyrie and Luka take over. And Luka says, hold my beer, thank you. We're going back to Dallas up 2-0, Riley.
Right, and I think Kyrie really showed just how that he showed that he has that extra gear in last night's game, in my opinion, and that extra. If we really need a basket, obviously he likes to facilitate and is fantastic at it, but he can be as good of a scorer as anybody in this league if he really wanted to. And I know obviously, there's been a lot of off-court things and availability issues, whether it be health or not, the last few years. But he's showing right now that. When he wants to be, he can be a top 5 player in this league right now in certain situations. And again, he's never going to be like that. And I know it's apples and oranges, but almost like how Steve Nash was in his prime, where there was a lot of times where Steve Nash could have put up a big number, points per game number, and Kyrie can do the same if he really wanted to. So. If they're playing like that and going into that extra gear in these second half of these games, it's going to be really tough for Minnesota. Not writing them off by any means, but down 2-0 when you had at least a split staring you in the face last night, it's going to be a tough hill to climb. So again, not writing them off, but it's going to be hard for me to imagine them winning 2 games in a row in Dallas at the very least. The way Dallas is showing, how bad they want this right now.
Yeah, and at first I thought Minnesota would be a real tough matchup. The ECSI VIPs got my full alert in saying the numbers were telling me before both series started that the Celtics were not going to win this NBA championship, and so your advanced Ant MVP finals, advanced Carl Anthony Towns MVP finals. Minnesota beating the Celtics, and then we did the same with Luka and Kyrie, and then Dallas beating the Celtics. Don't forget as well, these Wolves went into Denver and won the first two games on the road. So again, as you said, we're not counting them out. Obviously, Game 3 a must win. We'll be interested to see there what happens there. Kyrie returning to the building for an NBA Finals with Luka. I think that's probably even worse for the Celtic fans. My buddy, who's a season ticket holder, who when we went to Game 1 against the Pacers, our yearly trip up there, bought the tickets when the Celtics added Kyrie. So this Kyrie was the piece that was going to set the Celtics to the promised land. And then I remember in the series against the Cavs, he had I really want to say it was like a nose job or something. Game 7, and he's just sitting on the sidelines like this. Next thing you know, he leaves the building and goes to Brooklyn to pair up with KD. That was the dynamic duo that was going to win it all. They were going to be invincible. And then, of course, we know that they blow that team up. And now he goes to Dallas. Showed some flashes last year, but again, it's not if, it's when is he going to go on one of his tangents. The world is flat. He's had a lot of problems off the court. He's been a saint this year, Riley.
Yeah, and it's almost as if and I've always had a respect for Dallas in the way they, at least on a basketball court, they've obviously had other front office issues, whatnot, the past few years from that culture. But anyways, they you have to imagine that you had to have some type of sit down conversation of, if you're not going to be available for whatever we're expecting out of our max players, then we don't want to do business with you. And that's the way it has appeared to be with him and his availability right now, because he was fantastic last night. The couple of threes that he hit, I can't remember if it was late in the third or early fourth, to really kind of set the tone for the last 10 minutes or 12 minutes of that game was kind of, in my opinion, the reason why they ended up getting to where they were, on top of obviously the great shot by Luka at the end there. So, again, if he's playing like that, and obviously Luka's doing what he's doing, it's going to be a tough ask there. But again, whether it's Anthony Edwards stepping up and going to another level, or I keep saying Karl Anthony Towns, those guys got to show up, even if even if Kyrie is playing like that or not, those guys still have to show up and play that well for 48 minutes these next two games here. So if it's 3-1, it's going to be a tough ask to come for 3 in a row. If they can get 2 in a row, then series is back on, and we've got anybody's ball game there. So as you said, I'll give them game 3, and then game 4 we'll see what happens. Obviously that's going to be a 3-1 determination. If that's what we got, then it's going to be. But I think I can do it. But I'm not holding my breath for a 2-2 series swing after these next two, my man.
No, and like you said, game 3 a must. Do they steal game 4? This is kind of setting up like that Dallas OKC series where they got the split. And then they take care of the last two. Is it going to be 3-1? Minnesota then goes back home for game 5, and Dallas pulls the plug on it, says, don't worry, we'll take care of it in game 6. As I told my friend yesterday, as they're getting ready for game 3 here at 8:30 tonight, Boston, Indiana, the line is 7. The Celtics were 8.5, 9.5 at home. Now they're 7. That line obviously is telling me Halliburton will not be playing. Vegas has got that number baked in already. They're not going to get the banana in the tailpipe. If he plays, he plays. But they're not going to get whacked by the Celtics side there. And but my point is, the NBA Finals game 1 does not start till June 6th. So if the Celtics sweep and they finish these guys off on Monday, they got almost 2 weeks off, Riley.
Yeah, and it's obviously always rust versus rust. It usually only game one, if they're rusty, is the biggest thing that's affected by it. But it is going to be a huge advantage at this point. Like you said, you might like I said, you might have a rusty game one where they're more rusted than rested in game one. But after that, that rest is going to pay off if they can get it, especially if these two teams, Dallas and Minnesota, go for another tough series that like they've been having here. So. I am interested for it. I mean, obviously, still like the Celtics' chances, but either of these two teams, if their stars are stepping up, can definitely make a run for it here. These in a couple of weeks, as you said, not till June 6th. There.
Shout out to Mr. Berry, sports highlights, and of course, Mr. Sailor. Happy Saturday. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here. And we got a lot of people watching and listening here on the Twitter and everywhere else on our other social platforms. If you haven't subscribed, just jump on over to YouTube. East Coast Sports Investor. Subscribe. It's free. Turn on the notifications. Never miss a show with me and Riley and whoever else we bring on throughout the week. Heading over to Madison Square Garden, kind of sort of a must-win for the Rangers against the Panthers. Panthers strike first, 1-0. Rangers tie 1-1. Then overtime looked like it was heading to double overtime, but Rangers prevail 2-1 in overtime. Now, if my numbers are correct, that is 35 of the last 36 games, Igor Shesterkin has allowed 3 goals or less. So, again, if you're playing the Panthers team total over, and actually they were cute last night, both team totals were over 2.5 minus 130. So if you dabbled in either one of them, it was a loss. But they go back to Florida 1-1, Riley.
Yes, and that I believe that's game 3 tomorrow, right? So Florida going to have a nice home ice advantage, still in basketball mode there. So obviously not the hockey guy, but a 2 p.m. game 3 tomorrow I'm going to be waiting for. So I'll be expecting a Florida Panthers at least getting one of these next two, if not both of these two, and taking control of the series here. But Igor is making it interesting for everyone else here in New York there. So. The Panthers are too good, though, in my opinion. From whatever my opinion on hockey, whatever it means, whatever that stands for there. So, either way, I'm enjoying all these series. You know me, I'm not the hockey guy, but I do love watching the playoffs, and I'll at least give my casual opinion where sometimes it can hold some weight and mean something for someone that's not as deep in the trenches on some of these hockey games here.
And I'll just jump right into it right now. Let me pull up the numbers here. Game 2, 8 p.m. tonight, Edmonton, Dallas. Edmonton wins game 1 in double overtime. Connor McJesus scores 38 seconds, I think it was, in second overtime as they prevail there. Right now in the series, Edmonton minus 190, Dallas plus 160. The ECSI VIPs. Anyone that's watched the show knows we got a lot at stake here, and we can't kind of sort of lose. Early January, Mr. Lucky and a few others will attest to this. We have the Dallas Stars, Western Conference champs and Cup champs. We bought into Edmonton plus 450 to win the Cup to cover us before the tournament started. Current number overnight, Dallas minus 130, Oilers plus 110 with a 6 under minus 20 cents. Now currently at the Circa. Good morning, Mr. Benson, Mr. Metcalf, and Mr. Stevens. Hope you guys are having a great weekend at the Circa. Currently Dallas minus 134. You can get the Oilers plus 123. The total now 5.5. Juiced over minus 25. Again, this has got 3-2 written all over it. Must win for the Stars. Kind of, sort of. Going to be tough to go into Edmonton and steal 2 there, but if anyone can, it's Ottinger. I still lean the Dallas side. When you are playing the Oilers, 2 things. You can't be a man down. You can't be playing shorthanded. And in the start of overtime, Connor McDavid got a slash and a 4-minute penalty. So, of course, the start of the first overtime, game over. Dallas is going to score sooner or later. Skinner stood on his head, and, of course, the rest is history there. So, again, more pressure on the Stars. Do I think they're going to win? slightly, but listen, again, the Stars can go into Edmonton and win too. Ottinger can steal games. I don't know how I'm going to get into it. I don't have to get into it. We got the board covered. So we'll be doing our due diligence throughout the night on this, but kind of sort of a little more sense of urgency on the Stars tonight, right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Would you lean towards more goals tonight or a lower scoring affair like we saw last night?
It was 6 overnight.
Yeah.
Again, is that the 3-2 open net? You get to 4. Let me just look at some team totals here because I think that's what they'll do to Dallas. Yeah. So again, ECSI VIPs game 1 we lost. We had Stars team total over 3.5 plus 130. And I had a few people reach out to me, says, "You sure, Jeff?" And I was like, well, I think if the Stars win, they're going to get to 4. My point is I'd rather have a plus 130 ticket, have to get to 4 or better, than lay in the 132 and a loss. So again, tonight, I kind of feel the same way. You can get the Stars team total over 3.5 plus 140 versus laying the 134 right now. So it's kind of one of those catch 22s. It's playoff hockey. The scores get a lot lower. Could this end 3-2, 2-1? Sure, it could. I just hate to lay the 134s, but if I had to, gun to my head, I'd probably pay the piper tonight and take the Stars minus the 134.
Fair enough, my friend. All righty. Anything else? We did talk a lot about the NBA game tonight, obviously, but a flat 7. You mentioned it. Halliburton, very questionable to play tonight, and as you mentioned, that number certainly leads you to believe that they are leaning towards him not playing as opposed to playing there. And you said it perfectly. Even if he does play, then you get fine with that number. No problem at all there. The Celtics can definitely take care of that number even on the road. But we did talk about it. I mean, if he is out, you have to feel like that's a little bit of a deflation on top of obviously going down 2-0. We talk about, the Pacers had to have that game 1, could not let that one slip through their fingers there. So you could see a spirited effort from them in game 3. I know we were kind of leaning towards that when we were breaking it down before game 2 there. But if Halliburton is out and the Celtics get out to an early lead here, this one could be ugly pretty quick here. So I don't know what to expect out of this one with, still waiting on the Halliburton news. But at the end of the day, I'm not really holding my breath for any solid Pacers success here tonight.
No, and I didn't bring this up. It was kind of funny. Jaylen Brown, 40-burger in game 2, and that came amidst the news that he didn't make the All-NBA team or the team number 2 or however you want to phrase that. So he had a chip on his shoulder, comes out and scores the 40. Tatum is just, I kind of has been a shell of himself, had an okay second half. My number overnight was 6.5 with the 224. It's gone down to 222. There are some 222 and a halves at DraftKings, at Heritage, and 7s. 7 minus 15 cents at Circa. So Jeffrey Benson's next move will be to 7.5, not 6.5 there. So, one of these, you can look at it 2 ways. No Halliburton, no chance, or someone else steps up. Siakam, Miles, or whatever it is. And the Celtics have that letdown because there's still going to be a sense of urgency. The city of Indianapolis is buzzing because it's Indianapolis 500 weekend. And of course, the Pacers are playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. Honestly, I have no feel for this. And I, to be honest with you, I probably won't be touching any part of this.
No, I don't think so, especially not in game 3. You might have something where something shakes out tonight and maybe we can attack game 4. But I'm with you. This one, we don't need to, beat a dead horse, but they had to have game 1, and then we'd, again, would the Pacers win that series if they had gotten game 1? No, probably not, but we'd at least have some, different views on some of these games and different ways to get into these action here. So outside of that, go ahead.
We did not bring up early in the show, and I thought it was kind of comical. At the Charles Schwab, D. Riley Mr. Davis, right there, who I didn't have in my bingo square. We didn't give out anything. I was looking to dive into it today. Was the leader. I just wanted to say the comedy of the banana in the tailpipe, and we don't care. Scotty Scheffler, 7 shots back. 7 shots back. Had a dismal +3 at opening day, first round, and then -5 yesterday. 7 shots back. On DraftKings, last night, the favorite, +450.
You and I are thinking the same thing because I have it pulled up in front of me, and I was about to bring up the golf tournament in general and that. He's 5-1 now, even, same odds as Mr. Davis Riley there. But, yeah, absolutely absurd. He has 7 shots back. He's only, 3 shots back from top 5, I think it is. So another big day, and he's back into it. I was looking through it. There are some guys that have been going off and shooting well today. Nobody that's, making big waves or anything like that. But Kisner 4 under for the day. Justin Rose 3 under, still going. Keith Mitchell 3 under through 7. So my point is, you could score low. It looks like today as well. So the one guy I was going to bring up, who I think is number 3 in odds, but he's 4 back, and I've been a fan of his, and I've been circling around him, is Sepp Straka, a guy that has been in the mix. Very quietly in the mix this last year. He had, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, we had some legitimate shots at some big wins. And now these last couple months, it's kind of been lurking in the weeds a little bit in those top 20 ranges there. But he's kind of he's in the hunt right now, 6 under and 4 back. So that is one guy, I think it's 9-1 on DraftKings right there that I am looking at right now.
Pre-flop, I had talked to Brady about this Wednesday on our show, Tea Time Wagers. Brian Harmon caught my eyes at around 35. No, actually, I think he was in his 50 to range because Brady did Morikawa. Then he had some 50s and 55. So I think pre-flop Harmon might have been around that 50. No, he was 35, 40 to 1. But I'll tell you one who hit one of our models, and he is the heartbreaker of all heartbreakers. And it's funny because on X or Twitter, there is actually someone that tracks every one of his shots, and they kill him and crucify him. The trolls do. And again, the heartbreaker, but lurking with 3 or 4 shots back, and that's Sungjae Im.
Yep, he is right there as well, and I think he's 10-1. Him and Keegan Bradley 10-1 there.
So keep an eye on Sungjae Im. Brian Harmon was a pre-flop, but again, if you guys didn't get involved in pre-flop and want some, excuse my French, shits and giggles, a little, pizza and beer money, and you want the number 1 golfer for 52 weeks now, Scotty Scheffler, you can go over there, 7 shots back on DraftKings and get him at 5-1. So,
yes. No respect. No respect for old Buckley and Cootie there, 2 back, tied for second there. Sounds like an old Western. Cootie and Buckley and Cootie. So, they had no respect for them on the they're. I think 16-1 after all these bigger name guys. So not going to be holding my breath for those 2 guys, I guess, today.
No, MLB, there's a huge slate. And again, we don't have to waste everyone's time and go through. Everyone's playing a lot of day games today. ECSI VIPs. I promise I will get some kind of alert out. I'm going to be honest with you. I jumped into a first 5 team total over. I don't want to say it's looking like Chinese, but the scoring is way down. The elite pitching edges are not there. Teams that like for instance, the Philadelphia Phillies last night were in Colorado. They were supposed to score a touchdown. Their team total was 6.5, and they lose the game. 3-2. Listen, kid gloves. We were on in a great run. Go back about a week, 8-9 days ago, where again, our last 44 games, we were 13 and 15 games over 500. We hit a couple bumps. Obviously, we were part of the PGA Championship with Xander at 14-1 pre-flop. We're back. We're not going anywhere. We're back. So again, anyone interested or want to know what it is for just $3 a day, we'll send you what our eyes are seeing to your cell phone via text and, of course, emails. And it's a journey. We're not a scratch ticket. We've been here for 9+ years. We're not going anywhere. I hope to be here another 9+ years. And by then, Riley will be the star. I'll be the guy in the corner just waving like this and then giving elbows and stuff like this. But anyways, anything catch your eye in bases today?
No, I was just looking through it. I mean, we've got a couple of guys that we talk about as some regression candidates over the past couple of years, but nothing that's lighting me up for these guys today. But at least curious where you're at with these. Our guy, I don't think we've talked about him. At least you and I, just coincidentally, Jose Barrios for Toronto. Really, only one ugly start so far this year. We always talk about the good Barrios, the bad Barrios. He has been actually very, very solid, aside from one bad start where he gave up 7 hits, 8 earned runs a couple of weeks ago at Philly. Last time out, though, 8 hits against my White Sox, managed only 3 runs. Are we at a spot where we're interested in a little fade Barrios action here on the road in Detroit? Both these teams, right around the same record here. Reese Olson on the mound for Detroit. Any interest in fading Barrios today, or not lighting you up enough today?
It's so funny. The Tigers had lost 5 in a row. They beat the Jays yesterday. Olson on the mound Monday at Kansas City. Unless I'm confusing them, we had the Tigers Monday at KC, and Massey 4 for 4, 3 doubles. But there was a homer hit, and the next at bat, a line shot off of him leaves the game. This would be the 5th day. So again, this Toronto team. Springer batting 191, Bichette 223, 230 maybe. Vlad, it's just something is going on in that clubhouse. I can't back them. Usually when you win 5, 6 in a row and then lose, you lose again. Well, the Tigers snapped the 5-game losing streak last night. If I had a slight lean, I'd go back to the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, this Toronto rebuild and the what we expected from them, rebuild from a few years ago, reminds me of what happened with the White Sox these last few years. So a lot of promise, and then 2 years ago the White Sox go 81-81, and I'm tearing my hair out on an almost daily basis. That's kind of what this one feels like here today, or not today, this year, with Toronto so far, 23-27. Reminds me a lot of that White Sox team that was supposed to be, the next team up. Both these teams kind of at the same time were, and now Toronto's obviously sputtering as well there. So speaking of the White Sox, another guy, Eric Fedde, who has been very, very solid after being kind of a punching bag in Washington the last couple of years, has changed up his repertoire a little bit. I know there's been a lot more talk about it, and that's part of the reason why he's had some more success. Last time out, however, against those Blue Jays, 7 hits, 5 earned runs. Are we buying the bounce back season or the career season here from Fedde with the upgraded arsenal of pitches? I know new cutter, whatnot. Or are we ready to go on the fade train here? A little bit of an ugly streak here for the man Fedde.
I got A. Suarez. It looks like in addition, he's in red here. An overnight number -190. Can grab your White Sox +160 overnight. Corrected number this morning at the Circa. Baltimore -163. Your White Sox +148. Overnight number 8.5 juiced under -20 cents. Now 8 over -15 cents across the Vegas Strip. The only way I can play this game, unfortunately, would be the Orioles. I'm not paying the tax. If I'm looking, how can I maybe get in there? A first 5 minus the hook. Their team totals 4.5 over -20 cents. Listen, if you like the White Sox today and they scored 4 yesterday, for them to get to 4 today, +105, you can get them over 3.5. So I'm not saying, listen, you're showing a little spunk of late. I know the record's not showing it. But again, baseball has just been so, I don't have the right word. It's been brutal. And the teams you expect to be doing well aren't doing well offensively, pitching edges. And we're going to get to it today. That Yankee team, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Listen, I had the Orioles winning the East. Listen, the Yankees lost Garrett Cole before the spring training, before the season started. No problem. No problem whatsoever. Rondon rounding into form all of a sudden. Hill, however you pronounce it, has been lights out. This team is, what they have, 6 homers yesterday? I mean, Judge, Stanton, Soto. Where the hell did they come from, Riley?
They're all over it right now, and the White Sox had been showing a little more spunk offensively, a little more spunk. They've been running into some good teams now, and the last 10 or so have been, per their record at least, have been ugly. But they are showing a little more spunk, at least not embarrassing. So we'll move on from them. I don't enjoy talking about them too much there. A good team in Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Reynaldo Lopez, Mitch Keller. Braves minus 165 on the road here, plus 105 on the run line. With Mitch Keller on the mound. A good spot to attack the Braves here on the road, or a little too good to be true for this 29-19 Braves team. Woke up a little bit, took 2 out of 3 in Chicago, lose yesterday, looking for a bounce back. Good spot to jump in, or a little bit of a sneaky spot here for the Braves?
Like the Jays, I think something's going on in Atlanta. They're kind of going through the motions. I think Lopez's last start had a big lead and the bullpen blew it for him. On paper, yes, bounce back spot, great spot. If you want to get in, maybe a Braves minus a hook, first 5. Don't have to worry about the back end. Minus 150 overnight, minus 150 right now. You can grab the surging Pirates, no pun intended there, plus 137 tonight. 8.5 flat across the Vegas Strip. Team totals: Braves over 4.5, minus 120. Pittsburgh over 3.5, minus 120. Pirates put a shellacking on them last night. We'll see which Braves team shows up this morning. How's that?
Yep, I agree with you there. The other one you mentioned it, the Yankees, worth mentioning today. Actually, an underdog in San Diego. Stroman on the mound for the Yanks. My guy, former guy, Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. 2 games in a row. You got Reynaldo Lopez on the mound, and the Braves add an insult to injury for the White Sox, looking reformed and fantastic. Couldn't stay on the mound as a starter in Chicago, but now he's he's an all-star in Atlanta. And now you got Dylan Cease out in San Diego. No surprise there, but pitching well. Last time out for Cease, though. Not his best start. He's had a couple bad starts. One of them last time against those Braves. 4 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, a couple bombs, 3 walks, 5 Ks. So not his best start, obviously. But getting some respect here against the red-hot Yankees at home in San Diego. You buying the respect to the Padres here, or good time to take some plus money for the Yanks here today?
Cy Stroman, that's all I'm going to say. If we release San Diego today, Dylan Cease will get hit like a beach ball, and Stroman will go 7. If I say, great, what I saw yesterday, I'm in on the Yankees, and then Dylan Cease will go 8 1/3, 2 hits. And so Stroman has been one of our kryptonites. I'm a Cease fan. You would expect a bounce back from the Padres here, but this Yankee team is just a freight train right now. Team totals, both of them 3.5 under, minus 20 cents. So it's a 7.5. They're expecting a pitcher's duel. If you want to get cute and get even money, first 1 to 4 wins the game, and you get even money there. I will say this, so I will curse myself. I lean Yankees. I lean Yankees till proven wrong. That means take the Padres today. How's that?
Yeah. I'm hoping for a good pitcher's duel. Stroman's been great the last couple, and then that's like you said, there's a million ways where if you do one thing, it's going to go the opposite way. Stroman's looked great. You could buy him, and then this is a regression start. You could think it's a regression start, and he'll be fantastic. So it is a tough one, but hopefully a good game tonight. But if you've got anything, go ahead. Those were the ones that I was at least interested in talking about. Like you said, we don't need to go through every single one here. But anything else that you want to break down?
I'm just going to verbally say this. The world was on Kansas City yesterday. They're hot. They go to Tampa, who is not, and Kansas City wins 8-1. Today, keep an eye on the Rays. I had an overnight number of minus 125. Now it's basically a pick 'em, minus 106. I think a little too much love for Brady Singer and the Royals today. So keep an eye on Tampa with Savali. If you want to get cute, get into the first 5. Hopefully Tampa can score a couple runs and get you the first 5 win there. Keep an eye on that. 410 where I am right now, Milwaukee and Boston. Koenig Now the starter for the Brewers, Nick Pivetta, who's a Bulldog, starting for the Sox. Overnight number, Sox minus 145. Brewers plus 125. Overnight number, a 9.5 juice under, minus 20 cents. Currently, right now at the Circa, Sox minus 145. Brewers plus 132. A flat 9 now, over 15 cents. Team totals. This is interesting. Brewers team total 4.5 juiced under, minus 135. Sox 4.5 juiced over, minus 25 cents. I like the Sox here. I like them first 5 minus the hook. I like them in a bounce back spot. I think offense, it's beautiful out right now. I mean, we were almost at 80 degrees last night. We're about in the low 70s today. Ball should be jumping at Friendly Fenway. It's one of those Saturday afternoon games. The only question mark is where the sun is, if there's a problem in the first couple of innings. But I lean Sox first 5 here, minus the hook there. Last but not least, we're going to head to Cincinnati. As I talked about, we had the Dodgers first 5 team total over and get there. Buehler versus Green, on paper, a great pitching matchup. Is this Buehler's first game back, or has he had a couple back now?
This will be number 4 back. He's
4 back.
4 back, but he Cincinnati was his last matchup also.
And what were the numbers in his last matchup?
Last time out, this would have been a week ago Saturday, at home against Cincinnati. 6 innings, 3 hits. No runs, no walks, 7 Ks, and 78 pitches. So still hasn't gone over 80 pitches in either of those 3 starts yet.
Usually the next time back, those numbers are the exact opposite. So if you had a rough start, you usually get them, and vice versa here. So my eyes weren't wrong. Cincinnati puts a whooping on the Dodgers. So everyone, again, expecting the bounce back. Overnight, Walker Buehler minus 150, now minus 140. You can grab the Reds plus 128. A 9 over, minus 25 cents. Team totals, Dodgers 5.5 juiced under, minus 135. Cincinnati 4.5 juiced under, 145. Telling me this: if you like the Dodgers to get to 6 today, you can get them at plus 115. If you like the Reds to get to 5 today, you can get them at plus 125. Again, expect the Reds to put the ball in play this time against Buehler. And on the flip side, expect the Dodgers to be a little salty after their loss on Friday and look for a bounce back there.
Yeah, and in Green's case, also against the Dodgers, pitched well last time, 105 pitches on Sunday. I don't think it was these two head-to-head. I think it was Buehler Saturday, Green on Sunday. But 105 pitches on Sunday and pitched well against the Dodgers. So, yeah, you could have a couple of different ways where they get some runs. They got a 9.5 total for a good pitching matchup. So, definitely something to look at there. I like it. I'll be watching that one.
Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts, was hoping to come with, as we mentioned in the start of the show, with some UFC thoughts, but there is no UFC today. That's no fight night or anything. That's why I was thinking it was tonight, because I was looking at the upcoming fight schedule, thinking it was the upcoming weekend. So that is on me, and that's even after I looked into the odds. I looked into everything, 5 times over, and I still didn't realize it until 2 minutes before our show when I was trying to pull up the actual DraftKings odds for the night, and I'm like, why the hell isn't this on the main page? So I digress on that, but I am excited for everything else going on today, my friend. We've got good stuff tonight. Obviously, some good action tomorrow, and then I know you and I were talking. We'll see what the weekend transpires, but potentially a Memorial Day show around this time on Monday. Talking all things NBA and NHL and MLB, and maybe a little golf recap as well. So I will be looking forward to that, my friend. But ready for a good Saturday of some good action here.
Yes, a lot of NBA, NHL, full MLB slate. Again, I can't stress this enough. It's Memorial Day weekend. Just take a minute or two to step back and really realize what this long weekend is all about, whether you're going to go to a local parade, whether you can get out of your comfort zone and thank some people for their service. There's a lot of people not here today, and you go out the door and you just take a look around your local community. The home of the free and the brave here is because of their services. So, again, thank you all. I want to shout out Mr. Berry and, of course, Mr. Saylor. I like to say, Sundays, I call it Family Day, of course. It's a good weekend to get the summer set up, get the barbecues going, get the volleyball nets up, dust off the furniture. Make sure you got 2 propane tanks. One, nothing worse than cooking. You got the grill all fired up and you're halfway through, and next thing you know, you run out of propane. So always get that second one ready. But as Riley said, probably dark tomorrow. Me and Riley going to do a show, or try to do a show on Monday to recap the weekend and get everyone situated and set up for the rest of the week. So everyone, thank you so much. From myself, Jeff Dawson at DC Sports Investor, the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy the long, long weekend, and we look forward to seeing everyone bright and early on Monday.